Welcome back to your favorite movie review channel. As always, it is your lovely host, Peter Mann. What's up, y'all? Of Mann Cinema Reviews. Today we got an epic, large episode. No time to waste. We have 5 films to review, starting with The Iron Claw, Ferrari, Maestro, The Holdovers, and lastly, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But before we get to those titles, let me catch my breath and remind you to press like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well to notify you of any and all reviews and the like to this channel, if you like. Thank you very much for choosing Mann Cinema Reviews. First film we're going to go with is The Iron Claw. Now this is a period piece that tells the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Through tragedy and triumph under the shadow of their domineering father and coach, the brothers seek larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage in sports. The Von Erichs didn't know much about the family before viewing this film. This family is synonymous with the sport of professional wrestling, and it's great to see it on screen. It's an ensemble cast led by Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, Lily James, Colt McCallany, as well as Maura Tierney. And again, these are the Von Erichs. We have Kevin, Carrie, and David, the eldest, that are at the forefront of the family, following their father's footsteps. Fitz Holt McCallany, their mother, played by Maura Tierney. Now the boys are inseparable. No matter how domineering the father is, he pits the boys against one another. It's the Clash of the Titans. He holds one in high regard at one time, another in another time. It depends. The order can change. He tells that to his sons, but the brothers, no matter, have this inseparable, loving bond with one another. When one is holstered up, put it on the pedestal, it's no matter, because they hold each other down through thick and thin. Whether they are envious or jealous, love is basically trumps their whole trajectory. And that's what I've found this film very endearing. Growing up with 3 brothers, the eldest of 4, this story really just spoke to me. And I grew up watching wrestling, so set in the 80s. The Von Erichs were known regionally in Texas, like I said, but they became a national and global family through a lot of tragedy, plagued with tragedy, if you will. That's what I found most interesting, where the brothers see that they have this legacy, but it's more of a curse. And it's really interesting to see Zac Efron just holding it down, being the forefront in this film, really going for the gusto. I can see a Academy Award nomination. I really am hoping he does get it, because this is the best thing that I've seen him thus far. And Jeremy Allen White has had a great year with The Bear, but his performance as Carrie, top notch, as well as Harris Dickinson, who I loved in Triangle of Sadness last year, as David. These are the 3 brothers. They have another brother, Mike, and 2 other brothers, one that is mentioned in this film, but another that didn't get mentioned, but due to thematic reasons, we can see why. This film is steeped in melodrama. Its pacing is a little disjointed. It has a strong first act. The second act, however, I can see where people will be a little restless. However, the third act is the biggest payoff and just the cherry on top. Really, you're really just waiting for that emotional gump punch of a third act. And the cast and crew deliver. Like I said, this film has all the accolades, has just my heart and vote for it. And really, by that third act, it demolished me, becoming one of my favorite films of the year. Definitely contender for one of the best. The Iron Claw will get a full-fledged 5 stars. Going on to the next film, the latest film from Michael Mann, who hasn't made a film in a decade, Ferrari. This is set during the summer of 1957. Bankruptcy looms over the company that Enzo Ferrari and his wife built 10 years earlier. He decides to roll the dice and wager it all on the iconic race, a treacherous 1,000-mile race across Italy. Now, just a powerhouse performances from Penelope Cruz, who steals the show. We have Shailene Woodley, Patrick Dempsey, but again, you're here for Adam Driver. Just goes for the gusto. He's playing him at a seasoned time in his life. He was once a race car driver, but is this big media mogul in the luxury sports car industry. However, we're catching Enzo going through bankruptcy, having this tumultuous marriage with Penelope Cruz's character, who's very domineering, and Enzo also has a mistress who he has bear a son with, and that is Shailene Woodley's character. But you're really here for the room, the cars in here, and the racing as well, which is just, cinematography just is great in this film. The races, you definitely feel the engine roaring as it is going full speed, full throttle, and the racing scenes is what really keeps you. It's the emotional, thematic elements of Ferrari. He had a son with Penelope Cruz's character who has passed. And again, this man is all about legacy, but he is a man of the culture of race car driving. And Ferrari is just a man that has principles, but knows that he wants to leave a legacy behind. And that is what Michael Mann's film is about. Like I said, Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, powerhouse performers in their own right. I think that the pacing is what's the problem here. It starts off strong. In the middle, we get in the weeds of things, going through the motions, and it really doesn't really come to full fruition within the third act, which feels extremely rushed. But like I said, Penelope Cruz steals the show, very much like Napoleon this year. I feel this is a mixed bag for me. Again, Sir Ridley Scott worked wonders in Napoleon, but with its shortcomings, very similar and parallel with Michael Mann's Ferrari. Shailene Woodley's character, I know everybody is playing with their Italian accents. Penelope Cruz, being a Spanish actor, really can seal the deal, and it feels the most elegant and authentic. It's where Shailene Woodley comes in. You start to see the seams come apart with her performance. It's no matter that Michael Mann's direction is great, but it doesn't hold you. And like I said, the pacing is just off. Unfortunately, I will give it as strong of a 3-star review as I can. I was kind of let down with this film. Not the best Michael Mann film. No matter, I just love to see Michael Mann making films once again. And Ferrari has its perks, but in pockets. Going on to the next film, Maestro. This is also a true account, directed by Bradley Cooper and starring Bradley Cooper, co-starring Carey Mulligan, an epic film as well. Tells the story on the verge of securing a golden opportunity. American conductor Leonard Bernstein begins a tumultuous relationship with actress Felicia Montealegre, upturning their lives. So it really is centered on Leonard and Felicia's marriage. The family, the daughters that are still alive, really wanted to tell the story of their mother and father's marriage, and that's what takes paramount in this film. I like Bradley Cooper's go for broke performance here as Leonard Bernstein. I really think that he gives mannerisms. He is just definitely seeped in Leonard Bernstein. He's very method when it comes to his inflection, his voice, his look. He really wanted to encompass all the facets of Leonard Bernstein's life. However, it really is just a homage to him and Felicia's marriage. And that's where I kind of take issue with this film. I think this film plays it extremely safe. Like I said, Bradley Cooper, great director, loved his directorial debut in Star is Born. I just think that he was a great director and performer in that film. I really think that his performance is what takes priority, and I think the direction is great, but he really gets lost in the portrayal of Leonard Bernstein. I know he wants to capture it, wants to give Leonard Bernstein all his flowers and homage. Carey Mulligan as well, great performance as Felicia. She broke my heart in scenes, and that's what keeps me with this film. However, I really do think that we could have explored his personal life, living a double life, being a closeted homosexual, but having a marriage that he finds a kindred spirit with Felicia. We know that the two love each other and care very deeply for one another, but the union can't be fully satisfied because Leonard Bernstein is not. This man, again, living a closeted life, can't be himself, and maybe we could have seen that parallel with his works. I know that they mention his work on West Side Story. We know the films that he scores. Again, this guy wanted to be the greatest American conductor. However, I don't think that this film plays with the space nearly enough, and I think that with the performances of Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan saving the film, I really wish we could have explored Bradley Cooper and Matt Bomer's relationship. You get a little blurb, very surface level in the beginning, but again, I would have loved to see it, really explore and dig deep within the personal life of Leonard Bernstein. And I feel like, again, it's homage, surface level marriage story. And I don't necessarily think I wanted that in a Leonard Bernstein biopic. However, if you are just an average moviegoer, I can see why you would give this film all the accolades in the world, as it wholeheartedly deserves it. I just think that this film played it extremely safe, and I really wanted to be riveted. I wanted to be caught up with the emotions, and I nearly was there, but it wasn't enough. I will give Maestro a 3.5 stars. Going over to the Holdovers. Now this is the latest from Alexander Payne, another period piece set in the late 60s, early 70s. This film is telling the story of a curmudgeonly instructor at a New England prep school remains on campus during Christmas break to babysit a handful of students with nowhere to go. He soon forms an unlikely bond with a brainy but damaged troublemaker, and with the school's head cook, a woman who just lost a son in the Vietnam War. Now really, this film relies heavily on Paul Giamatti and Divine Joy's performances, which are great. Again, this is a man that has flaws, but is very stringent and very serious as an educator at this prep high school that he once attended. He holds his principles in high esteem, high regard. This man will not be moved, and he is set in his ways. A lot of the staff and the students really hate his guts, but don't tell it to him in his face. But this film really is an evolution of the character, and along with Divine Joy, who plays the head cook, they really develop a nice kindred spirit relationship, if you will, with one another. They get to know one another, and he has to basically babysit the kids that are left behind during winter break. And there is the main character who names escapes me, but that character really is the one to look for. And I think this was his first film, but along with Paul Giamatti, their relationship is what is paramount and is what's key to this film's success. Alexander Payne is a director that I hold high regard and high esteem, and I think this is a personal film for himself, and it really shows. I think The Holdovers has just these great performances that really just very endearing in moments where I just couldn't hold back the waterworks. There are definitely scenes in this film that did make me tear up and cry, and with that emotionality, you are willing to bet that I will give this film a great review. I think it's one of Alexander Payne's best films to date, and another one for Paul Giamatti. And again, Divine Joy, who I hope will at least be nominated for Best Supporting Actress, because she really stole the show for me. The Holdovers is currently being streamed on Peacock, and I did not see it in theaters, which I wish I did, but I caught it, and I was glad that I did it at home. I will give The Holdovers a full-fledged 5 stars. Going on to the next film, this is the last one, The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Years before he becomes the tyrannical president of Panem, 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow remains the last hope for the fading lineage. With the 10th annual Hunger Games fast approaching, the young Snow becomes alarmed when he is assigned to mentor Lucy Gray, Beard of District 12. Uniting their instincts for showmanship and political savvy, they race against time to ultimately reveal who's a songbird and who is a snake. Tom Blythe as young Snow. We have Rachel Zegler as Lucy. These two are just, chemistry is there with the young actors in this film. And it also has a great supporting cast of Peter Dinklage and Viola Davis, as well as Jason Schwartzman. Like, these three are what really kept me. The pacing is off in this film. It starts off really great with the, again, early into the games. This is the 10th annual game, and before he is president, he is a mentor, and you get to see the politics and the corruption and the greed and just the lust for the Hunger Games to be what it becomes. And Snow is this guy at 18 years old. You get to see the evolution of how he came from the humble beginnings but works his way up the ranks, and again with the politics and the greed will take over to become the evil character that he does become. And it's great to see Rachel Zegler and his chemistry being there. This is directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed the last two in the series, and he stays on as director. He really knows how to direct the Hunger Games films, and this is no different. I did like this film for what it was. I do feel like the third act gets a little ahead of itself and not nearly as satisfying as it should be. It's no matter, because I think it will get another film. It's hugely successful currently, still holding it down in the top 10 at least at the box office, and I will give the latest Hunger Games a 3.5 stars. Look forward to my best ofs and my disappointments of 2023 and another great year of Mann Cinema Reviews. Take care. Thank you.